Well, you have those people that are out there missing. They're alone out there. And then you have those that are taken. And that's what this show's about. To be honest, we need to start caring. It's not about the money. It's not about the fame. It's not about who is who. Everybody matters out there. The missing are a huge diversity of people. They're young, they're old, they're mothers, they're fathers, they're children.
Welcome, my friends. Please push subscribe and like this moment so you don't forget. Also, hit that notification bell if you would like notifications whenever I have new uploads. So let's go ahead and get started. So we call this Talking News. I'm also chasing a murder, and I also go by Debbie. So which case are we covering? Okay, guys, so we're going over the Cupcake case. We did get some information. I still don't have the affidavit, but we'll do the best we can with what we got. Before we get started, I want to mention we hit 8,000 subscribers. Wow, guys. I never thought that we could reach that, but we sure did, didn't we? Thank you all. I want to make sure that I'm sending out love to you guys, and also I am working on trying to get that giveaway going and getting that out. I want to remind new subscribers and stuff, my first videos that come out with these cases, they are not always 100%. That's because we're learning, about the case. It's fresh, and we're talking about it. We're getting their face out there. As time passes by, we will get more and more information, especially as the affidavit becomes available. I want to remind people, if you're not here to be nice and family-like, don't come back. We don't want any drama here. This is positive support here. So, we will give you positive support, and we expect it in return. So back to Cupcake, guys. I still feel uneasy about this. Even the Malia Davis, the AJ case, the Noah case, the Lizzie case, all of them. The fact that we're seeing so many of them and they're one after another, right? Yeah, it's not good. So I want to remind everybody that is new as well. This channel is about bringing awareness as well as getting their face out there and getting their story out there, because a lot of times these stories don't get out there. Occasionally you have those few that will take off. Anyways, let's go ahead and start again. I'm going to get started on this eventually. Okay, guys, so what we're doing is we're going by media right now and people that are talking. We do not have affidavits. Let me remind you that. So most likely these are not 100% facts still, but let's go over what we know or what they're sharing with us. So Cupcake vanished on Saturday, October 12th. And where does she vanish from? So it's called Tom Brown Village, which is a project housing and community. Cupcake, and according to this news, and her mother were attending a birthday party. So April was there, according to this article. So I know a lot of you were debating, we were trying to figure out, we didn't know if she was there or not. We still don't. While she was playing outside with a little friend, the kids all that were outside were playing hide and go seek, especially the older kids, and there was somebody out there, according to the child witness, handing out candy to the children. So we seen a surveillance camera of the two children playing outside, and we seen two people approach. We can't figure out who exactly those people are, and I wonder if police know, if they were able to identify them. We know police suspect that it's probably Patrick Stallworth and Derek Brown. I'll go over their information in just a second. So we see these two people lead these children off camera. One of them disappears. The child that disappeared goes by the nickname of Cupcake. According to this article, it was 24 hours before they actually reported her missing. and the whole community come together to try to locate the little girl. So did investigators and FBI agents, and as well as the Jefferson County coroner later, which was 10 days later after they found the child at a landfill. So they recovered Cupcake on October 22nd, and this is in a Sandtech dumpster. Okay, so before I go over this next fact, according to sources and articles, Stallworth Patrick says, well, his attorney says for him, give me the benefit of the doubt, but listen to this. The dumpster that they actually recovered her from was parked near the Center Point apartment complex, and that's exactly very close to where Stallworth and Brown lived. And this guy is telling us, I'm innocent. And I will go over that in a little bit, what all the attorney has said, so give me a little bit. So this dumpster was actually transported to the landfill near Warrior, where Birmingham police and FBI agents recovered, the child and pronounced her, deceased at 5:16 p.m. So let me remind you guys, so this is 10 days later, so after October 12th. What is interesting about this is so the family was actually attending a birthday party on October 12th, and approximately around 7:24-25, you can see a surveillance camera of the children playing outside. You see a few people walk up to her, and a lot of people are saying, they can see their hands in their pockets where they might have pulled out candy, because it is said by a witness that there was candy being handed out. So this area is near Messer Airport Highway, so the Tom Brown complex, where the party was being held. And according to this source, remember I told you guys, let's not give the mother a hard time at the beginning. I only did that because I wanted her to be able to talk to the police without being under too much stress, so she wouldn't miss anything, because if they get too riled up, they can't remember everything they need to remember. But turns out, we were not sure whether the mother was even at that party. The mother's name is April Thomas, and her family members, it was her and her family members that were at this birthday party in the parking lot off of 41st Place. Well, North 41st Place. So according to what we're hearing right now, yes, the mother was there. So all of you that were suspecting that she was not watching her child, you might be right. So according to the children who were witnesses after she disappeared, they say that, the children that were attending this party said a man got out of an SUV and put the baby in a vehicle. Now, this is very new information for me. I don't know about you guys, but I've been busy the past few days. 24 hours after she goes missing, the residents at the Center Point condominium complex called the authorities after finding the Toyota Sequoia parked outside of Stallworth and Brown's where they lived. Now, I remember this actually, because they wrote this in a way that didn't sound like where it was going at the beginning. But I remember this day because there was a lot of people that went to those apartment complexes in support of little Cupcake. They were hoping that they were able to see that little girl come out of that complex, and it turned out they seen a child come out and they thought it was her, and then, oh my gosh, false media started going out everywhere. It was not Cupcake, it was another child. Police also arrested Brown and Patrick that day at that complex. Patrick had also had a surveillance camera come out showing him at a gas station just before all this started to happen. It was just 2 days later that they actually, well, the Birmingham police charged Patrick with 7 crime possessions of child images. He didn't just have that on his phone. He planned on selling it, guys. So for those of you that get defensive when you say, where is he getting this money to bail out? People have every right to ask that question. He definitely, at this point, with this evidence behind him, he is not a saint, that's for sure. So he goes on to ask people, which we're going to go over real quick. So, according to Patrick's new attorney, I think I forgot to tell you guys that Patrick is a 39-year-old male. He says that his client maintains his innocence. He wants to clear his name, and so his defense attorney, Derek Collins, was appointed November 4th, which was yesterday, Monday. I want to remind you guys that his 29-year-old girlfriend, Derek Arisha Brown, they are both charged with capital murder and for a child under 14. But we're not hearing any evidence. We're also not hearing whether or not, according to the police, Cupcake is not the image on his phone. So right now, they're facing a possible death penalty. So what they're saying is that the little girl on October 12th was suffocated the same day that she was abducted. So I'm just making sure that I get you the correct information out here. Now back to Patrick, they're saying that that attorney was already appointed to Patrick for these charges on the child images shortly after her abduction. Guys, I'm struggling with audio today again. This mic sometimes works great and sometimes does not. Who out there uses mics? Please, in the comments below, let me know what you've had a good experience with. I've tried expensive and non-expensive, but continue with the story. So Patrick's attorney shares with the public some words from the man that is a person of interest in this case and behind bars. He says, quote, "He did tell me he's innocent, and that's why he wants to defend himself. He wants everyone to follow the law and give the presumption of innocence. It's a bad situation for him. He's very distraught. He's confused. He's not himself, of course, and he wants to defend himself." So this is after this guy has, I understand he is innocent until proven guilty. But man, what a coincidence if he's not guilty, right, guys? What a coincidence. His car was at the Tom Brown complex the day this happened. What a coincidence that his car was at the apartment complex, the same place the dumpster come from, not too far away from there anyways. What a coincidence. And what a coincidence of what he had on his phone, his interest. I'm telling you guys, a lot of you guys thought when I said this quote, if it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, it must be a duck. So let me try to put it in a way that you understand. A lot of people thought I was applying that to the child. No, this is a very old saying, and it's probably one of the wisest sayings, of my time. So if you see a criminal, they're breaking into the house, they come out of the house, most likely they broke into the house. So, yeah, if you hear me use that quote, it's not in a disrespectful way. But that's what I'm saying here. I mean, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, then it must be a duck. So all the evidence that they have collected so far without even going to trial doesn't look good for him. Yet he's kind of, saying, I'm innocent Yeah, you are innocent until proven guilty. That's the law. And we will respect that law. But it doesn't mean we have to like it. We don't have to like him because of the law. We don't have to believe him because of the law, because we are able to collect our own thoughts. And we're able to do our own investigation and see that a lot of this evidence is against him so far. And we haven't even received all the information. I can tell you the Birmingham community, they're not going to allow him to not face consequences. They're very upset, and the world is catching on as well, and they too have had enough of this kind of violence towards children. At this point, the world is waking up. They're becoming more aware as we move on, which was the point of this channel. I wanted you guys to be aware of what we're facing and what this world is turning into. So they will be prepared, sadly at the cost of a lot of innocent lives, but you have to get people's attention. We forget over time. That's just natural. Now, before I forgot to tell you guys about Brown. She's being held as well as authorities filed a motion to revoke the bond in the case in which Brown is or had abducted her own children. Now, a lot of people are saying that she has more than 3 children, but in this information we have right now, it's saying 3 children. And those 3 children are in DHR custody. The thing is her story made news last year when she led lawmen on a chase before crashing into an innocent motorist and then into a sheriff's SUV. You can find that video online. I have it on one of my videos as well. It's just a small clip. The sad part about this is she had her children in the car on this chase. And when she made this crash, she put her children's lives on the line. But they ended up being fine and okay, but still. Great, great mother, isn't she? Now I want to mention again, a lot of people are upset with the parents of Cupcake, and especially the mother. Not so much the father, but the mother. And they're wondering why in the world is she not being made an example of, which I agree. I think that we should start making examples so that other mothers get the notation that you can go to jail for not being a good mother. I mean, she still has another child in her custody. But then again, it's hard to do that because then you're hurting the other child. I think what they figured is the punishment enough when you lose a child. She has to live with that for the rest of her life. So I'm kind of on the fence on this one. I'm going to let them do their job, what they are paid to do as far as that goes. But I know you guys have very strong feelings in this particular case and very angry, and you had that right. So as you guys know, it can take a while before this case really you start to see anything happening. I mean, what cases were we following that still, Kelsey Barrett's trial just started. She went missing back in November 22nd of 2018. So we're just now starting trial on it. Savannah Spurlock was right in that time, and they haven't even started trial yet. Andrea Mcdonald, the very successful leader. I mean, this woman, she was really making things happen. Andrea Mcdonald impressed me because she was so competitive. She went missing, and we don't even have a clue of what's going on with that right now. I mean, that case is really moving slow. So we have all these cases, and they're going to probably all start about, one after another anyways. Now, I want to remind you guys, if you're new to my channel and you do not recognize these names, please, I want you to know who they are. I mean, I have a lot more in my list, including girls that are still missing. And one of those girls is Jasmine Robinson. She's from Florida, Archer, Florida. I'm doing this off the top of my head, guys, because I do not have her notes. I didn't plan on doing this. She was, listen, she has a bit of a background, nothing too bad. She ended up pregnant, which was kind of surprising to some of us. Not for reasons we can't discuss right now. And she disappeared. We haven't heard, this case is gone very cold. We're not hearing much on it. Then you have Sarah Galloway. Oh my God, it's just like she dropped off the face of the earth. A few of my other girls that I was following actually started to see some justice. So those are actually, I just haven't had time to do all those updates. But a lot of the cases that I do follow are women who are pregnant that disappear. I want pregnant women to be aware that they're being watched. I don't want you to be afraid, but I want you to be aware. So one of those stories I would like you to go check out, and this was a horrible story, was a story coming out of Chicago. And I can't remember, Lopez, I think is her name. I don't remember her name. I'm sorry, guys. I'm terrible with names. And I know who she is. I can see her face as if, you know, this happened yesterday, but names. Go check out, she's a Latino, young Latino girl that was pregnant. You'll find it in the videos. What happened to her was just absolutely terrible. Now back to Cupcake here. Let me tell you guys, no matter how many of these cases I see, the one thing I do notice is I get stronger to be able to tell these stories. And I'm able to do it without, you know, having to retake like I was before. I can actually do it in one take now. But it never ever, when I get through talking about it, it eats you up for the rest of the day because you're thinking, my gosh, you know, why? Was there something we could do to stop it? And that's what my videos are about. I'm always hoping there's a way that we can stop this kind of stuff. You know, you're reading those statistics out there and they're saying, oh, they're getting better. Guys, let me tell you the truth. Those statistics are always old. They're outdated. And a lot of times they are so scrapped out into puzzle pieces that you can't really put the puzzle together, honestly. They're not to be trusted because they try to hide truth like they do with everything. They never want you to know the truth. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. So if you were to look up, you know, homicides, you're going to notice that they're going to be they're not accurate because they take, if it's a terror type thing, they separate it completely away from the total. So they won't add that into the actual statistic that you're trying to look up. And these are the things you learn as you start getting into this sort of thing. And you're looking up, you're researching, trying to find the truth. But you find out that the only way that the truth's going to be there is how much you put together, how much research you do. But, you know, with this case with Cupcake, I'm just so disappointed. But I understand because April and them, they come from, and I remember what my family was like this, so this is why I understand this. They told us kids to go play. They didn't pay attention to us, and it was up to the older kids to keep the eye on the younger kids. They never had a thought go through their mind that something like this could happen. And I think that's what happened this day. I mean, you could hear the witness, which we're fixing to actually play that video once again. The little guy that was so brave, he was the cutest thing, wasn't he? His heart was there and he wanted to tell the police everything, but the woman that was standing beside him was kind of treating him like, you know. One of her comments about him was what he think he knows. And the kid did know. Everything, now that you compare that information, that kid knew more than anybody. Anyways, let me run that for you. It's hard to make out. Getting into a blackish blue vehicle. So here we go. They found the one early. Now we need y'all to help us find Cupcake. Did y'all see? They're right here, right? It was like blackish blue. Okay, this child right here said I can't put him on camera. It was blackish blue. It was a car truck. It was a truck. Blackish blue. About what time of day this was? It was like kind of like get ready to turn dark. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. It was after dark. No, it was like y'all gang got through by 7 o'clock. They got here. We got here like. It was at the bar. Oh, I know the times. No, it went by no 7, baby, because I was out work at that time. This happened around about. Gotta be 7:45 to 8 o'clock. This had to be around 7:45, 8 o'clock. Telling us about giving us some candy, selling candy at her church school, and I guess my sister was on the corner, and she got some candy somehow, and then that's when who was playing like hide go seek, but if you get in touch with the back, you win. So that's when I started looking up under the truck, and I seen some little people feet stepping in the car, cause she had her churn in the car, but she was on. No. And they was stepping in the car, and then that's when they had came out here, and then they kept going like that, then they kept switch cars, and then they went like that, and then they kept going, and then he just flew down the street. What color car? I heard some. Okay. I did the best I could in trying to figure out what he said. I think I did figure it out, but there's a part there where a lot of people think that he said the dad switched cars, but what he had said was they had switched cars, not dad switched cars. So we want to make sure we clear that up so you're not blaming the dad, because I really don't think the dad had anything to do with this, but some of you do, and that's okay. I mean, you have the right to think. But my personal opinion, I really don't think the parents knew these people, because the police have found no connection. And the father definitely didn't help hurt the 3-year-old. As of right now, off the information we have right now. But that boy is so cute, but you can hear him. He was paying close attention. You know, he's one of the older kids. He's watching while he's playing, and that's what they do. I remember those days. We were in charge of watching the younger children. My favorite part is where he puts in, if you touch the back of the car, you win. He's making sure that you know those rules. But all I can say is thank God for this guy, this child. He doesn't even realize it, but he's a hero. He made a huge difference, I believe, in this investigation. So guys, I want to remind you, because I'm hitting my limit here, that I will collect more information on this case. And remember, we don't have affidavits. Nobody does right now. So we're only getting the information we're allowed to have, and we're using what we can. I can tell you right now, the parents are not talking. They're not supposed to talk. The last thing they want to do is hurt their case. I have not reached out to April, because she did come to one of my first videos and she was very upset. She told me to get my facts straight. But it's funny, I've had a lot of family members, they'll do that, and it turns out that a lot of times they don't have their facts straight, and they find out later they don't have their facts straight. But before we close out, definitely want to ask you guys, especially people who were there that night, what did you guys see? What do you know? Share that in the comments below, because we have a lot of people that like to read comments. Now, I had a few people trying to reach out to me, asking me where can they send me information. And if you reach out in comments and say, hey, can you send me your email, I'll share it with you guys and you can write me. But right now, I want to say that I am very, very upset the fact that we didn't have a better outcome on this case. But like I've mentioned before, at least they're going to see some sort of justice. Some cases are not that lucky, I'm telling you guys, and that's what I'm thankful for, because it can always be worse. Now, we will get new information as the days roll by, and I will try to update you. Right now, I'm going back to the Kelsey Bears case, and I'm going to look and see if there's a new case that needs our help, because at least we can get that face out there pretty quick. Don't forget, we had that Anaya case that's going now. They still haven't found her, and I'm trying my best to squeeze all this in. It's hard. So I do want to send my love to April and her family, her Cupcake's dad, of course, because no matter what, they love their children ultimately. They make mistakes, and this is a hard time. And of course, I want to always thank you guys. You know I love you guys more than anything. You guys are amazing. I have the best group of people. Okay, guys, let me close this out. Love you guys. See you guys soon.